everyone, welcome back to the channel and the start of a new series. So we got a fresh series, fresh haircut, and a fresh name of sorts. We're gonna go with This Week in Tarkov for this. I know it's not as catchy as Today in Tarkov, which you all have so lovingly begun to call tits, but we may work on it. We may come up with something else. Nonetheless, look for the show every Saturday morning. We will use it to catch up on everything for the week. We will rehash some of the things because we're still gonna do. I was gonna say tits. We're still gonna do Today in Tarkov. Not everybody catches all of those. Not everybody sees them. So we'll get this every Saturday show going that we cover everything that happened in the week before that. So for this first one, let's dive right into the big news this week, and that was patch 12.12.15.4. So the patch brought us DLSS, a bunch of other stuff, but the big conversation so far has been DLSS and been mixed. Some people love it, some people hate it. People are freaking out over it. It is what it is. I'm not going to talk much more about that here. There's tons of other videos for you to go watch and fill out your opinion on how you feel about DLSS. But I think one thing that has been lost in that discussion is the performance improvements across the board for the game. Regardless of DLSS or not, we've seen faster load times. The menus work so crisp and fast now. There's not much lag on the flea market or in the hideout. And in general, just better performance across the board in the game. With that, we also got the new Rhino Pistol, which leaves a lot to be desired. I ran around with it for quite a few raids. Didn't have much luck with it. It's not great. It reloads slow. It isn't super accurate. The ammo isn't awesome. But try it for yourself. Maybe you can have some fun with it. It might make an okay secondary. With that, we have repair kits as well. We did a full video on this. If you're watching this, that video is already out. So if you want to know how those things work, whether they're worthwhile or not, go check out that video. I'm not going to talk about a ton here, but it seems like they share similar spawns with weapon parts. So people are finding them like in that weapon mechanic room above the USEC stash on customs, you know, in the warehouse where the green room and stuff is. Finding them in the night buildings on customs, down in the water treatment plant in Lighthouse, and then in caches and stuff, which is not surprising. There was a bug with scopes, bugs with DLSS, bugs with scav movement, etc., etc., etc. Every time we get one of these patches, there's always bugs, and they work through them. Now, they've already fixed, we'll talk about it in a sec, they've already fixed most of the scope bugs, at least as far as I can see. I can't find any scopes that are broken, though they did say there's some that might still have issues. There were tons of crafting changes, and we had planned to do a crafting video for you guys Friday, but with the changes, I'm still going over everything, trying to figure it out, see where things are headed, and get you guys the best information on what's the most profitable crafts. Now, I go over the patch in a ton more detail, all of the notes, we go through it all. That's in a separate video again. I keep pushing the other things, but I don't want to rehash it in this video. So if you want to see that and you haven't yet, go check that video out. I go into detail of all of the stuff in the patch. One of the things BSG does is they pretty much tweet all of their news. That's their main source of getting information out to people. And if you don't want to be on Twitter, I don't blame you. But if you want to keep up on news, you can join the Discord. We have a channel that puts all the tweets there that BSG or their Escape from Tarkov tweet or Twitter accounts put out, so you can see them without being on Twitter. On top of that, we also have one for Nikita. So when he tweets stuff, we can see that too, because he does a lot of Tarkov related things. So the link for that Discord is down in the description. Feel free to come hang out. Pretty cool little community we got there for answering questions and other stuff as well, not just news. Now, with the patch, we got a hotfix Friday afternoon, morning, kind of depends on where you were at, but they fixed several things. They started off with the fixing of the blurry scopes. They said there might be some places where it still occurs, and they're going to continue to work on that to fix it. But for the most part, all the scopes I was using after the patch were clear as day. They look great. I was happy to see that. There was apparently some visual artifacts with flashlights they repaired, as well as an issue with containers not closing correctly in your hideout or in your main menu, whatever you want to call it. You couldn't escape and exit your stuff. That's all fixed. Really good, happy that got fixed as fast as it did. There was also a bug with the connection options setting that they had added. It was basically making it so people couldn't get into the game. They had a workaround for that, but now they've removed it so that there's not a problem anymore until they can get that fixed. So that's good. And then they fixed the positioning of the report menu in the post-raid screen. If you went to go report somebody, the contextual menu and everything was kind of out of alignment. So that's all fixed now. After that, we got this cool little video from BSG tweeting. Looks like it's rogues at the entrance to water treatment plant, but you can see the lighthouse in the background. And if you go look at the video itself and listen to it, they're just voice lining, talking, nothing crazy there. But what you do notice is in the background, the lighthouse is flashing, and it's flashing in Morse code. Now, what does this Morse code say? I translated it, and I fell right on top of about several other people. I guess translate not's the right word, decode, whatever. But it reads red, scav, high, friendly, or foe. Those are the words. What do those mean? Not sure. Feel free to fill the comment section full of your theories and conspiracies and everything else down below. I would love to know what you guys think all this means. And then lastly, we also got a picture from Nikita. This picture here is 99% sure this is streets, just because of how it looks. Everything we've got, you look in the background, there's some cranes and stuff, which it could just be the background of streets, whatever. I think this is streets. Now, it's not in-game footage. It's like kind of an artistic render they do, kind of like they do with the scav bosses and stuff. So it's meaningful. Somebody went through the extra work to make this. The thing that's been pointed out, Pestily did, and many people in the community, is the room number is 428. And people have been using power tools and maybe guns and explosives to try to get into this door and have yet to do so. But before we go further, I need to put my special hat on for this one. All right, so here we go. We got our tinfoil hat on, suitable for Tarkov, to talk about conspiracy theories. Now, it's been going around. Pestily started this, that 428 as a date, April 28th, is a Thursday, which is the meme patch day in Escape from Tarkov. So here we go again. We got conspiracies, we got pictures, we got dates. Who knows if any of it's going to be real? Does this mean we're going to get streets on 428? Does it mean we're going to get lighthouse? I think Nice Guy pointed out that the sailboat picture means it could be lighthouse, because sailboats need lighthouses. Again, tinfoil hat shit here. I have no idea myself. I don't know if this means anything or if it's just a cool picture we got to see as streets and we're going to get more of these leaks in the coming days. Is it possible that 428 could lead to a date? Yes. Is it probable? I don't think so, but I was wrong about the 12/12 one. But it's not like you should believe anybody dressed like this anyways. So again, in the comments, let us know what you guys think. If you agree, if you think it means 428, we're going to get streets or something on streets, maybe a preview of streets, who knows? But hopefully, at least dressing like this, you can get a chuckle out of it and maybe drop a like, since the kids are pissed off at me that I had to steal some of their stuff and to make this, but I think it was worthwhile. Now, as much as we can, we will do economic reports at the end of these each week, especially if there's stuff like this week that are really important to talk about. So with the changes to crafting, we saw a huge spike in tool costs with the patch, but those have pretty much settled back out now with a few exceptions, and they're settled out, but there's changes. So it looks like BSG changed the prices on sewing kits. For one, so they used to sell for about, I think it was like about 28,000. Now they're only selling for 17,000 to vendors. So that really lowered what they sell for on the flea market, as well as what you can sell them to the traders for. So keep that in mind. Sewing kits are still worth looting. They're just not worth as much as they were before. With that is Elite Pliers, but the opposite direction. Elite Pliers were like, I think they were 8,000 or 9,000 rubles prior to the patch. Now they sell to therapists for almost 16,000, 15,750. So definitely worth picking these things up now when you see them, and even if you're just going to vendor them. And then with that, round pliers, not as worth as much as the Elite Pliers, but these things were worth like, I think 2,000 or 3,000 rubles beforehand to the vendor. Now they're worth 10. So a nice little 10K one slot item that you can sell to the traders and not even have to worry about selling on the flea market. The emergency water ration is another one we've seen a spike in. Now it isn't a spike necessarily with the patch. It's been this slowly increasing price on these things. And I think it's just because players like using them. They're one slot. They get you back up to hydration, especially if you got max metabolism. So they're definitely worth looting. I think they're worth crafting. Again, we'll get into that some more detail in another video. But when you see them in raid, pick them up and maybe not drink them, but use them to make a little bit of money. With that, I also think we have seen peak sugar. It's been pretty stable now for a couple of weeks, running between 80 and 90K. We've seen it pull back a little bit the last couple of days, but that could just be a quick little drop. It might come back up into 80, just have to wait and find out. I don't think we will see a big pullback like we have in previous wipes with sugar, simply because thick cases can't be purchased. So the only way to get them is moonshine. The only way to get moonshine is sugar. So that's going to be the big draw for sugar for quite a while, is the thick case requirements for people. Intelligence has also been ticking down, but more steadily. This happens every wipe. We see intel kind of start to pull back. It'll drop down probably into that 200 to 240K range eventually, and won't get much lower than that just because of what you can get out of the scav case with intel. But if you've been saving intels, it's a good time. You should just sell them and get rid of them, because they're only going to get cheaper and cheaper as time goes on. Now, without getting into too much detail, we've seen the US dollar and euro in the game settle back to where they were a couple of months ago. Primarily, this is because the ruble in real life has recovered from the big crash right after the invasion of Ukraine. So as of making this video, we see dollars at 132 if you want to buy them from Peacekeeper, and the exchange rate on the flea market is 120. And then with euros, you're 147 rubles per euro is skier, and 127 rubles per euro is the exchange rate on the flea market. Now, if you want more detail into this, go check out my video that I talk about the exchange rates, how to take advantage of them, and what they mean. Pretty easy video to follow, and a ton of good detail over there on that one. But that's pretty much it. This is how we're going to do them. We're going to do these every week going forward. So look for them Saturday mornings when you're getting up to coffee or doing your workout or whatever. Happy to give you guys as much information as I can on the fly. Once we get our workflow down, you should see these things early in the morning. This one's going to be late, obviously, but Saturday morning early is when you're going to see these things. That's our goal. With that, we'll be doing crafting videos Friday mornings. We missed this one this week because of the patch changed everything with crafting, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but we'll have one for you here in a couple of days. But aside from that, thanks for watching. Appreciate having you guys here. Wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.